I swear, sometimes I'll feel like, okay, this is going to take like 15 minutes. And then I'll be surprised that I keep talking about something so long. So anyways, I don't know how long this is going to take. But I have a bunch of things on my mind. And it's, okay, so for one thing, you know, having this person come, then, you know, there's no clocks. Like I have been saying, the only one is on my phone. And she isn't using a phone. And so I had to put a battery back in here. But then that became a challenge because they didn't teach kids how to read clocks. Like, you know, when you think about if technology is making people smarter or not smarter, we'll just see how many things that kids are not being taught that we were taught as kids. I was like, you know, don't feel bad or anything. I mean, we were taught this stuff, like technology is fucking you guys, like it's fucking you guys right and left. You don't need to be smart. Technology will do it for you. I was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. But it's just so crazy how they marketed it, and it worked. It worked for a long while. But now we get to see the aftermath. So, which there's gonna be some fucking aftermath on that goddamn giant thing, man. I gotta talk more about that because I'm so bothered about the giant thing. But I just got up. And I had, when I stopped the thing, it said 7 hours. Like, hell yeah, 7 hours? Fuck. And I didn't get woke up in that time. I think I got woke up one time, but it was real quick. And so I feel like more rested. Yesterday, I never took a nap or anything. It is so fucking cold here, too. It's fucking cold. And I went out and raked and did yard work and stuff. And I was getting a bunch of deliveries. And so I don't know, I was just busy all afternoon. And I didn't ever get tired, even when I was going to go to bed. And Estelle had been snoozing and snoring. I was like, fuck, I gotta get to sleep. And I was like, man, I feel awake. Like, how am I even going to go to sleep? But I was asleep in 2 seconds, apparently, because I don't remember it at all. So, anyways, I feel good and I feel rested. And I was shocked yesterday because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so tired. I got woke up so many times. But then I didn't sit in that energy. When I didn't feel tired. And I'm telling you, this matcha chaga plant root tea stuff, it's like I'm on the plant powders. I don't know. I think like I bet you I see more benefit like after like 1 year or something. I don't know. But anyways, it probably is making benefits now, and I just don't really realize it. The only things I'm having right now is like I'm still clearing out all this crap in my lungs. I have that, oh, I forgot to put one of those tea bags in. When I put that tea bag in, oh my gosh. Yesterday I put it in, and every time you do, it's just like, it just starts making all this gunk come out of your lungs. And so it is good. And I ordered some more of it because the package I got was so small. It was just a bunch of little tea bags. So I thought, well, I'll order some more, especially, my stomach's already growling. I'll order some more if, because I had in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I better get stocked up on my tea powders, because if shit goes down and we're not able to just get packages and stuff, like, I better make sure I have the things I need. And then yesterday, what did I see? A whole parking lot, an Amazon full out in the parking lot, and people crying, and it was very, very dramatic. And and then that thing said Amazon just fired all these people. No, nothing. Just went in and said, everybody leave, you're fired. And people are out there crying, they're crushed, like, oh my God, it's the holidays, oh my God. You know, and people are right on the edge with their bills. And they don't understand this is the universe pushing you to see that you were in a trap. And they're trying to push you out of the trap. But people like the trap. It's comfortable. They feel contained and controlled, and it feels like, what would I do without it? You know, so it's like the universe is like, it's like you're pushing the bird out of the nest. That's how I look at it. The universe is trying to push all these birds out of the nest to see, like, you can fly. You don't need to sit here and be controlled and contained. You can fly. Fly, my dear. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Hold on. I just got my tea, so hold on. It seems funny to call it tea now. I just got my root powder. I got my hot root powder. Because there's no tea in it. No, I don't. Well, I guess if it's matcha, it's green tea, so. but it's got so many other things. I'm going to call it my root powder. It's my root powder. I'm going to drink my root powder. Sounds weird, huh? So, hold on. But so when I just went on, I saw Duran pops up real quick. First thing, I even get notifications. It's so weird because when I had just watched him a couple times, because I would see him pop up, you know, and but I don't know what it was when I would see it, and I was just like, I don't have time, like I'm not on here just for nothing to do. I'm just on here looking like what's going on in the world. So I'm just trying to go through videos real quick and see like what's going on, which is so fucking much. Like Brazil, like I had even forgotten to say about that tsunami that hit just out of the blue. Nobody was expecting. It just came in. People were in restaurants and cars, 1,000 cars went out into the ocean. This guy said that the water just came in and swept and just took all those cars. And I don't know how many were parked and how many were driving. But they sweat. Oh, God, it makes me so sick to my stomach. Oh, my God, that is weirdest feeling. It's like I could feel it wave over me. Oh, my gosh, that is weird. Oh, my gosh, I swear to God, tapping into some of this energy gets so much more intense. Fuck. So anyways, and then yesterday I saw footage and they weren't speaking or anything. It was just people trying to walk around and it was just mud and just stuff everywhere. And I was like, fuck, I wonder if this is Brazil. Because I'm pretty sure it was Brazil was the one. I could be saying the wrong place because I do that. I'm sure this is the one, but I'm good at it. It's weird. My brain does this weird thing sometimes with words. So, and I can think I'm saying one word and I'll be saying another because sometimes I'll see in a video and I'll be like, what? I thought I said blah, blah, blah. That's so weird. So hold on a second. So this morning, but when I very first started seeing Duran, it was like I didn't have time to sit and watch him just stroll around LA. It was when they started doing like all these people, all these protests and shit, and all this stuff happening in the city. I was like, oh, well, Duran, I want to see what's going on. So I watched it a few times, and not even that long. And then that one day because if you watch it, you have to push on live. And then when I watched it, and when I pushed on it to watch, it tried to get me to pay. And so I was like, bug. You know, I mean, I really like the guy and I want to support him, and maybe I will turn around and pay just because I really like him. But I was like, oh, I'm not into it that much. I don't want to be like, oh, well, you know, I mean, I feel like it's like his crew, you know, he's got like a crew or something. And, but I get notifications of what Duran's doing. It's the strangest thing. It's like my phone knows I like him. And so my phone just notifies me, hey, Duran's on. I was like, okay. So anyways, when I went on this morning just to check and see what was on, Duran popped up first thing. And this was the cutest thing. This is what, you know, just the simplest things can make people happy. And it's so fun to see somebody get so happy. So I don't know, my guy come on and he's just at an accident scene or something, and there's cops around, and so he's just kind of strolling. He's up by all these scooters, and he goes and picks up a piece of garbage off the ground, like a broken part of the car, and he puts it in the basket of one of these scooter things. And then he starts to scoot off on his, and as he does, he pulls up this little thing, and he's got the Mercedes emblem off. Not the one off the front, the one off one of the tires. He was so fucking excited. Oh my God. He is so funny because he's always just like, yeah, that just happened. Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. He gets so excited like a child. And he kept showing it. He's like looking at it. And, you know, he's going past the cops. And he's like, bye, nice to meet you. When he's picking up, he's like, yeah, I'm just trying to pick up streets a little bit. He's such a character, this guy. And then he starts talking to his people. And they're asking about his food and stuff. Because that's a part of his deal, is he goes around and eats. And even when he's eating, like, I thought it was so strange when he did it, but now I see, like, he's such a character. Because, you know, I would be just going through, and all of a sudden there's this guy, and he's putting, like, the water bottle up to the phone. I was like, what is this guy's deal? But now you see, like, he'll put his burrito up. Hey, you guys, have a bite. Have a little drink. Stuff. He's just a character. But I'm watching him, right? And he's scooting around, and he's excited. He's like bouncing off the wall. He's like, I got to get to the recording studio and go back over the footage. And so he's like, that's where we're headed to. I'm way too excited over this fucking emblem thing. And then you hear the scream. It wasn't a normal scream. It was like the Pennsylvania holler. It's like that creepy fucking scream that's coming from the sky. And so he goes, oh, wait, stop. He goes, where was that? He's like, okay, we gotta go find that. He goes like, maybe it's up by the hotel. So he starts scurrying that way. He's like, you know, it's really hard to tell when you hear that stuff because the buildings and stuff, it'll put it off. But when I was listening, because I knew what I was listening for, because before he said anything, I heard it. And I was like, ooh, it's got the fucking, the sky holler happening. Which, oh my gosh, there was footage of over Iceland, and I don't even know what the fuck. I mean, in the cracks, the smoke is coming up. Like, it's fucking, if I was in Iceland, I'd be fucking scared. I was like, fuck, is this place going under? Like, this is creepy. So there's footage right before it all started happening, and it looked like the Borealis was just heavy there. But then this thing comes up, like this yellow, giant colored tornado looking thing starts going, like it's sucking and going up. And that's when all their stuff started happening. Fuck, it looks fucking magic. It's otherworldly, no doubt about it. If you can find that footage, it was like, what? It was wild looking. So, and it, you know, this stuff keeps happening. It was like over Turkey, the red thing. Over, there was another place. The one thing about Brazil, though, on the Doomsday map, is still there. And I saw a girl yesterday live, too. I'd never seen her before. She was English. And she had the United States map up. And she had red zones and stuff. And she was trying to explain to all of us, like, and to everybody, she's like, you know, people are going to have to start coming here. Then she was talking about the thing, and this is about to happen, all this stuff. So see, there's other people. There's not just me. Not just me saying this stuff. So other people going, we got to get to the safe zones. These cataclysms are happening. This is going to happen. This is, you know, and I think it's got to be just some of our guides are just pushing us to, like, you got to keep saying this. You got to keep saying this. Because, yeah, there's more people saying it. And she's like, you guys may not be listening. You may not hear me, but this is real. And so, you know, it's going to be the people who don't think it's real are going to be the ones that suffer. So I keep saying. And, hold on to zero. But the shrieking thing, I think I'm positive it was Pennsylvania. Which, and this morning, oh, my nose is totally dripping. Maybe it's the root powder. Oh my God. Just have to use my t-shirt. I'm just a child at heart. Who fucking cares? I really don't care about some stuff where people are all trying to be all hoity-toity or something. I was like, no, not that bad. My parents made me go to charm school. I had to go to charm school when I was a kid. I thought it was the most weirdest thing in the world. You gotta go learn and have manners. But, you know, my parents, it's just weird when you start understanding about how the hierarchy of these towns went. And now to, like, look at my dad, because he was the biggest, and it was union business. His company was a union company. And it was the biggest one in Dallas. I think the biggest one in Dallas-Fort Worth. And it was way back. I mean, he was like in the forefront of those fire sprinklers. He was right at the beginning of that. And he had the biggest company. And we had a lot of money. I'm telling you, like, these people, I would be like, who's that? And I would be like, oh, that's so-and-so. He's a millionaire. And then, like, my cousin, she married one of these millionaires' kids. And she's the one who got killed right after. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she got everything. She married a millionaire. Man, I'm going to have to get a tissue or something. Hold on a second. My nose is seriously dripping. Hold on. Paper towel. And it seemed like, she got everything and how lucky. And she was so young. She was very pretty. And she was a farm girl, she wasn't like your trophy. She was just a real pretty farm girl. And real sweet and young. Gosh, she was 19. And married this rich fucking kid who came from one of these millionaire families. He had his own plane. And so anyways, then she went, I don't know, because she was trying to lose weight or something. Moving from one culture into the next, put pressure on you. And then so she was out riding her bike in a fucking city. Oh, God, this world is rough, man. Hold on. I finished real quick. There's a lot of powder in the bottom, too. The other day I had just that bit left and I put it on the dog's food. I was like, that gives some powder, too. Okay, so then she went out to ride her bike and, just something normal that people do. And back then, in a helmet, I think this is absurd that people think a helmet's going to save them. I mean, it's helped a few people, probably, to have it on, and then they got in a wreck and it was like, oh man, if I wouldn't have had that helmet on, I would have really got hurt, which you don't know for sure, but nothing can happen that's not supposed to happen. So if you got hurt, it's because you got to heal from it, like when I got my brain injury. And if you die, it's because that was your way out. That was your exit. That was your portal. That was your portal exit out of the game. Hold on a second. Man, this is extreme. So, then she was going on the bike, and it must have been one of these roads where the cars are like going two different ways. And so she was on the side of the road, and a car came up behind her and was waiting to pass her. And so then it passed her, and then this, like, I don't know, like a Mustang or something was trying to hurry. And didn't even wait to see what he was trying to pass and just slammed into her and killed her instantly. Well, I don't know if she died instantly, but she was scooped up and taken to the morgue, and her family had to look for her for like a week. It was fucked, man. It was real fucked. So, anyways, and she was pregnant. Then they found out she was pregnant. And she had just gotten pregnant. I don't even know if she had told her husband yet. So, I don't even know if she knew yet. Anyways, it was really sad. That was really devastating. I was 20 and she was 19. And we both just got married. And I married somebody who was a abusive guy who wouldn't move out of his house. She married this rich guy, bought her a house, had a plane. She had everything you could ever imagine. And it was all taken away from her in a split second. Because that stuff, But then when I would think about my dad and these people coming over, these rich people all the time. And now to know, how the hierarchy, was he trying to get in on the crowd? Cause it's about the social climate, but see, they'll hold you back. But he had connections. Because there was weird stuff that happened all the time that I would, even when I ran away from home, they found me. And it was me and two other girls. I think I was 13. And, my childhood was rough. That's all my childhood was rough. So 13, me and a couple other girls with rough childhoods, we decided, it was Leah and Michelle, and we decided we're running away from home. And, back then we would go to the roller skating rink all the time. And some of this stuff is so weird. So we go to the roller skating rink all the time. And I was such a spaz. I was so lanky and skinny, and I wasn't a good skater. I was way too just like I had no, and I was super spazzy. And so I was more just like walk around in your skates. I don't know, you try and go out and skate, and I was definitely spazzy. I was definitely not one of those people going out and doing all, because then as I got older, one of my friends who was I don't know, she would always talk about, like, she was fucking queen skater at the thing. Like, she's going out, and she could still go put on the skates and start doing all that stuff. I was like, fuck, I wasn't that coordinated. So, anyways, but of course, you know, the boys were always hanging out there. Not just boys, men, because these were men. And, you know, I mean, you're 13 and you don't know, like 26-year-olds trying to talk you up, you don't know. And so I don't know how this all went down. I remember this guy, and so I don't know if I told him we were running away, and he said, hey, come stay with us, or these girls were also talking to the same crowd of guys or something, because it was like a bunch of guys lived in this house, and all older. And then they told us that we could run away from home and stay at their house or something, apparently. So I don't know, because me and Leah and Michelle made a plan, and we ran away from home, and then we're at these guys' house. And the only part I remember was like this guy trying to touch my boobs, and because I had none, I had on a padded bra. And it was really a bit, you know, like a 13-year-old is going to get caught. Padded bra, no boobs. And so then I just remember it being so uncomfortable, and I don't think he ever touched anything other than this padded bra thing over my shirt. But still, I mean, this guy's 26 years old. I mean, when I look back on this now, it's just like, fuck, you fucking pervert. And when I was 16, I was dating 26-year-old guys have been after me for a long fucking time. Even when I got older, 26 guys, 26-year-old, maybe I fucked over a lot of 26-year-olds in my life or something. I don't know. But 26-year-olds were really, from the time I started, and then, I mean, I haven't dated in a long time, but definitely there was, I think, one of the last people. Okay, so anyways, then, so we were, you know, hiding out here. I don't know if we went to sleep. It didn't seem like we were there that long. It seemed like maybe we snuck out in the middle of the night. We ran away. We went to this house. We all went in, and then maybe we all went to sleep. And this guy was, and maybe we were all asleep in different bedrooms, because I feel like I was asleep in this guy's bedroom at the back of this house. And it seems like he had his arms around me or something, but I was just sleeping. I didn't do anything else. But then, but I'm sure he would have if he would have gotten a chance, because, you know, he's 26 and I was 13. And so then all of a sudden there was just utter chaos, and it was pounding and all this stuff, and everybody's jumping up, and then people running out and running and jumping out this back window. The girls ran through, jumped out through the back window, so I went out with them, and they ran, but I was just coming out the window, and I got caught coming out the window. So I got caught immediately, taken around front by a cop, and get taken into the driveway. And there's my mom and dad. And my mom walks directly up to me and slaps me as hard as she could across the face. And then we got in the car. You know, I had no charm. I was a naughty little slut or something, you know, like I was disgusting to her, I think, and then those girls got caught later in the day, I think. They were hiding in a doghouse or something, a couple houses down, and then they got caught. And then we were never hung out anymore, I don't think. Any of us, I don't know what happened. I think those boys got in trouble, but my dad was always able to fucking, like, I don't even know. But my mom would always be, well, your dad, he had like a way of networking and stuff. He had a way of talking to people, because when I got to be 16, then, and I was, you know, more problems. My parents were divorced. My mom's with that young guy who was a total alcoholic pothead and he was like 28. And then all these other guys were 26 who were trying to date me. And then at the apartments. And then that would, of course, turn into drama. And then my mom and my dad's, they were just, Harry Hines. Anybody who's been in Dallas, like Harry Hines in the 70s. Like the most industrial looking taverny kind of skis ball bars as possible, and that's their hangouts. And it's weird too, how my dad had this certain group of people around us all the time. Then he went through all this stuff, and then he was with this totally different kind of group of people, totally different. I don't know if, it was the universe, and I don't know all his lessons. It could have had something to do with, loyalty and stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know what his life journey was, but and then my friend was Lonnie, and I had met through the 26-year-old guys that were all the little race car drivers and stuff from the apartments who were from McKinney. So I would hang out with all these race car drivers and stuff, and I would drive way out to McKinney, and it was far from Dallas to get to McKinney back then. There was no Plano and Richardson and stuff to drive through. Well, Richardson was getting started and Plano was getting started, because then my mom ended up moving out there, which got me a little bit closer, but it was like out. It was not anything like it is now. And when I would leave to go drive to McKinney, it would be like 45 minutes on the freeway, which I think it was Central. It was more like the state highway or something. Would go out to McKinney, and my dad would get so mad. And I'd go out there and hang out. But anyway, so I became friends with Lonnie, and she was, oh my gosh, she was such a manipulator. And I think she just wanted to be friends with me because I was so in with all these race car drivers. And so she wanted to hang out with these guys, and she liked Kenny, who, I liked a lot of them. So then, but she had got it set up. She was getting an apartment for us, that we were going to get this apartment. I was like, well, how are we going to do that? She's like, I got this guy, and he's going to pay for it. And I was like, so he's just going to pay for us to have an apartment? And see, and I didn't know. I had red flags going up, but, I didn't know about traffic and stuff back then. And, but I did know about prostitution and stuff. And I definitely was like, well, whatever you gotta do to survive. It was like, no, I'm not gonna judge somebody. And so, she got this apartment, and I went over. I hadn't even moved anything in. I just went over to see it. And what I walked in and see is her having sex with my boyfriend on the ground. So then I was like, well, I'm not going to live in this apartment. So I left. But the weird thing about it was that my mom had said, because this was a big thing at my family's thing, because I was, 16, and they're like, you're not moving out and get an apartment. Who's paying for this apartment? Blah, blah, blah. And I would say, I don't know, Lonnie's got a friend who's paying for it. Some guy, I don't know. Who's this guy? What's his name? Maybe I said his name or something. But somehow, I found out later from my mom, my dad tracked this guy down. And this guy was like a millionaire, and tracked him down. And my dad was more of a, like I said, like he would drive around in fucking Lincoln Continentals with guns and shit. So my dad was more of one of in that hierarchy. He was more of one of those, I don't know, knee breakers or something. I don't even know how that whole thing worked. But he did something to that guy. I'm not even sure, but my mom told me. And, there was so much wild stuff with my dad. Even when my mom left my dad, because when my mom left him, she'd been in this bad marriage, since she was 16 years old. And he cheated on her the whole fucking time. He was angry, drunk, and, she was in denial that he was a sex abuser. But so she, this guy, like, we had a flood in the kitchen, and these two fucking Cheech and Chong guys pull up, and I was like 15, and these two Cheech and Chong guys, I was right close to 16 though, pull up in his van. You get out, the smoke comes out. They go in, start working on our floor. This guy was so young. He was 28 years old. And my mom, I guess, stood in there flirting with him the whole time. And they gave her number or something. And so then they started having secret calls at night for a week. Then my dad picked up the phone and heard. And then he told her she had to stop. She said no. And so they ended up, she moved out and moved on with this guy, and went and got an apartment, which is how I met all the little race car drivers. But but when that happened, my dad, and he had a girlfriend. I mean, the whole time. The woman who was my stepmom was his girlfriend for a long fucking time. Even the child she had, we all were like, that is, because she kept saying the guy was the father of this kid, was Mexican. This kid looked like my dad. He was blonde hair and blue eyes. And he had that little bit of red tone to his skin. It was like, we need a DNA test, but we didn't have that back then, right? So we were always just suspicious, like, this kid looks a little too much like us. Like, you're not Mexican. Like, what, no. So anyways, the kid did not look Mexican. His mom was white. The kid was white, but he looked like my dad. And so, you know, then B didn't look like my dad. So anyways, that whole thing. But my dad got so mad. So he's got this other family, but he got so mad because how dare my mom? You can't do that. And this guy, you're not getting one over on me. So he broke into their house, and it was a big fight ensued, and he got out at one of these and did that a couple times in the back. And when he's doing that, on top of him, like, he's beating the snot out of him, gets him down, pulls that out, and starts doing that in the back of his head. And so my mom gets a full wine bottle, because she was really into drinking back then. When she went in this direction, she got like into a little partying, a little smoking the weed, a little drinking, a little, you know, because she got together with Cheech and Chong. And so she gets this full bottle of wine, slams it on the back of my dad's head, and it just blood and shit goes, and he falls back. And I think he ended up having to go to the hospital. I don't even know if my dad got fucking so beat up all the goddamn time. My dad had to get his face put back together one time from a beating. He broke all these bones in his face and shit. So I remember blood going all down on his face, but he left. And so this thing was on the ground, and my mom took it to the police station, and it had misfired. You can't go before your time, and you can't nothing happens unless it's supposed to happen. Like, that's just facts. And so, and then no charges, I don't think. And that's another thing too. My dad drove around, never got DUI or anything, drove around drunk all the goddamn time, and always had a drink in his lap. Always. Had one of these in the car. Like, man, I just see things like, it's weird. And Dallas was a lot smaller back then in the 70s for, like, if you were a business and stuff. And his was successful until, you know, it went, his drinking. It was like after my mom too. It was like kind of like my mom held it together, which is a lot of pressure for somebody to hold the world together, for somebody who keeps trying to tear it apart. So you can see, like, fuck, it drained the fuck out of me, man. So, you know, it makes sense that she would leave, but she went into another toxic situation. She didn't do it, like, in a healthy way. So, of course, it just turned into more toxic shit. And since she was, like, there for it and was going to stick it out, she stuck it out until he left her. And then, you know, but she was already going through her guilt and stuff. I think she just she hasn't faced her demons, you know, and a lot of people don't, and then they just go to church and ask Jesus to take them away from them. It's like, you can't do that. You have to face your demons. You have to let them out. And I'm curious too, as I tell you guys how to do that. Like, the triggers, when you get a trigger, to reel it back in, to walk backwards and try and find the origination of the trigger, the birthing place of the pain and suffering that you're trying to, you just keep going back and back further into your pain till you find it, to release it. Like, has anybody tried this? Like, am I making sense to people? Because, when I'm having a conversation, not just preaching, when I'm having a conversation, it's like, people are like, what, how, what? So I just need to know, like, is it working? Like, do I need to think of another way to explain this or something? Because this is like what I did. This is how it worked for me. But I did not have is my stuff was different. Like, there was a lot of things I was processing through my life. So, I don't know. I mean, because there's so much. Like, you got so much stuff, man. And so, anyways, if anybody would tell me if some of the things that I'm saying are that they try them and they do work, I would appreciate the feedback. Because I do need to know, like, am I saying it wrong or something? Like, I would like to know. So, okay, let me think what I was going to say. Because was it still something about the, back in Dallas, back a long time ago, my dad, what am I trying to see past here? But I had processed so much of that stuff, like stuff about my dad. I think I was most stuck on my mom for the longest. It's weird because I could accept my dad, because even though he was such a mess, he was real. He was always just, real. I mean, he was a real drunk. He was a real like he was, but he had this fun side to him. I wish I could have got that dad all the time. And, but he couldn't do that because his own pain and suffering. I don't know what the demons were that held him back. Why, even when he wanted to quit drinking, he just kept going back to it. I think, it's a good way for people to hide from their demons. But the thing is then you just get more. But people don't understand how it works. So, but he, I just think about him always, coming in to get his first vodka in the morning. He's all dancing into the kitchen. He's always, and Wooly Bully was a good one. He always would be, doing the Wooly Bully. Wooly Bully. There was some fun things with him. He was a character. I'm sure being his friend would have been really fun. I mean, when he died, like, he had people who just loved him, and he was super caring and stuff. There was, like, really good things about him. So I can't wrap him up into just like, well, he was just a perv and he hurt me, and that's it. Because I understand life on a spiritual perspective, and I understand that none of that's real. It's all about the lessons. And, what was that? Okay, maybe I'll loop back through. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to say it, and then so, I don't know. I have to try and remember what it was, but sometimes it just pops up, and so I don't need to say it. Just like they throw it at me all of a sudden. But he was, but my mom, see, she was always super cut off. She was always cut off. She always seemed hard and judgmental, and she probably was really super bitter. And she probably did blame us kids, like we made things way harder on her. We were wild. I was a trouble because I was such a cut up. Like at school, I didn't do good grades. But like I said, my guides would tell me, don't do that, don't do that. Like, now that I see that they were using those tests to find, I think people like me, is now I see why they were telling me not to do the test. But at the time, what I was going through was like, my dad was too drunk. I don't think he cared. But my mom, I'm sure she thought I was like some sort of retard. was just like, and remember, retard was slow. Like where they came up with now we're gonna call like doctors. Well, this word means slow. These people are slow, so let's just call them retarded because we don't know what else to call them. They're all different things, so we'll just say they're just retarded. They're just slower. And so to us, retarded was it's just slow. It's just slower. It's not. And I don't know how they turned it into the same, like they take these words and make them out like, no, that's so rude. You use that in the wrong way. That's rude. I don't know. It's odd how they do this all the time, but I grew up on the word, so I use it still. And I've been shamed and shamed and shamed by my kids and called a racist, a bigot, and everything else. It's like, well, if the word fits, I don't know what else to do. So my mom thought, I'm sure my mom thought I was like retarded. They were probably the teachers were telling her. I would go in class, I would either zone out and be lost, or if I was present in the room, I was cutting up and blurting out funny things and everybody was cracking up. So I'd get in trouble and get sent to the principal the whole fucking time. And then, the best things were when I did just zone out and just go into some meditation. But when the class was interactive, and then I would always get sent to the office and I'd always get licks. I always have to stand out in the middle of the hallway, bend over, Kelly. You know what the drill is. Get my spanking. Get sent back to class. It became ridiculous. I think one time I got 3 licks. I don't even know what the hell for. I'm sure because I made the class laugh and everybody cut up. So shame on Kelly. And so then, see, what was I going to say? Okay, because my mom, she just seemed so cut off and so judgmental. And she always seemed like she just hated me. And just like that, just walk up and just slap me and then say nothing and just look at you like, oh. As, some people get this, from their mom, I get, bam. And and my mom was very much like, we were tiny. Liars are the worst people in the world. Liars are the scum. She had a lot of anger about liars because my dad. So we were taught at a young age, you don't fucking lie. I'm like, I can't lie. I would feel like the biggest scumbag to lie. And even if that's why I try and go over the top of like, okay, I got to really explain this. I got to make sure I see every perspective. It just went with my whole thing. And then, but never feeling close to her or anything. And then when I got to be it was like they'd already been divorced for a while. This was the haunted house that was so creepy too. This is the one where the guy tried to attack me. And that's why I know, like, even if a ghost hates you and it wants to attack you, it's still limited. It can only make you feel a certain way in here. And, but you can feel their energy. That's for sure. You can feel how much they don't like you. And I don't know what this guy's trap was, why he was trapped in this house, or if he was just choosing not to go, or if he was doing the same thing as that other ghost lady, was just trying to be a dick and get us out of his house. Like, I don't fucking know. I just know that she moved out of the apartments. So they lived there for a couple of years. I think I was a senior in high school. I was going back and forth. Because I did that one quarter. I had left the Dallas school district and went because she moved out to Richardson, to the suburbs, and it had its own school, J.J. Pierce. Like Farrah Fawcett went there. I think Jessica Simpson went there, something like that. And so it was like J.J. Pierce. And so I went there after leaving the Dallas schools. And don't forget, my school is half black. They weren't putting a lot of effort into our education. And so I went there and it was like, fuck, what the hell are these people doing? Is this college? I can't fucking do it at all. And I'm sure I failed out, but somehow, just because I attended, I got enough credits to graduate. They had a better credit score thing there. So I got enough credits to graduate. I was missing one for my senior year. So my senior year, I had one class. And this is somebody who was like a flunky. Like, if you looked at my report cards, it was embarrassing. I really thought I was retarded. I was like, poor Kelly. She's a little retard, but nobody knows. Because I didn't talk much. If I did talk, but I was very quiet. I was one-on-one person. And and then when I was one-on-one and I would start talking and my perspective and stuff, people would always be like, God, you're so weird. All the time. I was just the weirdo. Then I had this class. It was 4 hours long, but it was just work program. So you were supposed to just go to the class for an hour, and the teacher would teach you how to fill out applications or something, but you had to go to work. And so my class was work program, and my job was my dad's office. So got paid like $1.65 an hour. That was how much you got paid back then. And then we got a big old raise to $2, and maybe it was $1.15 or something. But then there was a big jump, and it went to $2.65 an hour. I was like, hell yeah! But I barely ever went to work. Never went to work. And when I did, I'd fall asleep at the desk because I was a receptionist, and nobody ever fucking came in. If somebody came in, they were just going back to their office. It wasn't like they were just trying to find a job for me. But there was so many other people who were, like my aunt worked there, my uncle worked there. It was a whole bunch of people. Everybody worked here at this place. My parents' friends, and he had a whole my first boyfriend. He got a job at my dad's, but he worked out in the warehouse part because they had the guys who went out and put the sprinklers in. So he had that whole union group of guys. There was a ton of those, and I would meet those guys all the time. And then the guys in the shop who would be making the pipes and all that stuff, there was a ton of them. And so you had all those people. And then you had all of the engineers. So you had like 6 engineers who would draw up the jobs. And then he had salespeople. Like, it was a fucking big old thing. But it wasn't like the kind of job where people are just coming in, I'd like a 2 o'clock appointment. So it was just kind of a front person. And I'd fall asleep at the desk and stuff. And my aunt would get so mad. They were like, why is she getting paid to just sit here and do nothing? I was like 16, but I was very irritating. I irritated a lot of people back then. And, but in my senior year, it was something else I was going to say about that, but I don't remember. Don't fucking matter. I don't even know why I'm going off on that fucking story anyways. Oh yeah, because my dad, and how weird with the now understanding how this hierarchy with business and licensing and who you have to. There's this president of somebody running. I don't know if he's Canadian or what the hell, who this guy is, but he's like, he's talking to somebody in an interview, and he's like, yeah, just like all Hollywood people, you just gotta suck Zionist cock. And he goes off. He's just like, yeah, you want anything, you gotta suck Zionist cock. And he just keeps going and saying about sucking Zionist cock. It's like, oh, it's all coming out, man. Yeah, it's all coming out. The blue and it's all the same people. The Yahtzees, the blue, the Amish, with the H before that word, they're all part of it too. Like, these people, the blue people, not all blue people, because all blue people don't know what the fuck's going on. The blue people who are in charge, they just wanted more blue people so that they could, rule the world, because they do give them business license. They do give them extra things. They do make more money. So they're a part of their hierarchy. And they, I don't know, follow the synagogue rules or something. I don't know how these people think or whatever. But, they make all these other groups so they can always say, well, we're under attack. We're under attack. It's like, you guys are attacking yourselves, you bitch ass. Fucking shit. And take your Zionist cock and shove it up your ass. And then this, what was this one? Oh yeah. So this lady this morning, this is how whack this is. Like, I can't even watch when these things pop up over on the strip. And you've just got these kids sitting there bleeding and crying, my mom, I just want my mom, and all this stuff, this whole drama. And I'm like, and I start thinking, this is crisis actors, no fucking way. I'm like, who would do video? I mean, if you were having this stuff happen, it's like how they keep having like these kids sitting there. Nobody's holding them. Nobody's comforting them. It's a performance. It's like wacky, man. So I just can't watch, because if you're not seeing it in person, then they're fucking with our heads. And it's not, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but it's not my problem. And you're trying to make me be burdened by someone else's problem to stress me out. And so I have to, go past it. And it's not off of love and light. Like, oh, I'm ignoring this. This isn't really happening. I can't let it bring down my vibe. It's not like that. It's more like, but it's like that. It's like, well, I'm not going to watch something that is going to just keep me feeling like shit and keep me down all the goddamn time, because I feel so helpless and hopeless. I mean, what do they want us? They want us hopeless and helpless when they have people clear across the planet who are being slaughtered, little children, and we can't do anything about it. Well, how do we feel? I mean, and then the whack shit that's going with these flags and stuff in the streets, like, this is getting wacky, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on the flag thing, but I don't know. This is just weird. And I'm just shocked how many people just keep being like, well, if they don't want to be in America, they should just go. It's like, you guys, this is bigger than that. This is theirs, putting this down and saying, this is our land now. You want to try and take it from us? Like, when the flags are going like that, it is, you are at a battle over the place. And you're showing support, which one you're carrying. You can't just go into one flag place and start putting yours up. I bet you there's other countries. Like, if you move to some country and you thought, like, because you drive down the streets in America, you see other flags hanging in people's windows and shit. You drive around here, you can see that, and then they get it all under, well, freedom of whatever, freedom of something. And so you can have those things hanging around. So people are like, well, that's no big deal. You can just hang them around. Well, if we went to another place and we tried to hang ours up, I don't think we could. I think there's a lot of places that you would not be allowed to hang up a flag from somewhere else. I don't know. And some people from other countries tell me, what it's been in your history. Can people just come in and put up any old flag that they want? Because that says, I'm under this flag. And then even when all these people in all these other countries started fighting for freedom, there was tons and tons of protests out there. And they were all using ours to represent freedom. And so, I don't know. I think there's more to it than what people are just trying to be. Like, I think that there's going to be more that's going to come out. Just like this. This is fucking crazy, because, so while we're sitting here saying, well, I'm saying, like, I don't know who else is, but while I keep saying, the shit on the strip seems like a lot of show, a lot of performance, like a movie, and trying to, it's like bring this stuff up in people, but it's like bring it to the surface and then fucking flip this fucking table. That's what it's gonna be like. So all these people are having this shit come up to the surface. The table's gonna flip. And so that's when it's gonna be like, what the fuck? That's where we're gonna see fucking existential crisis like crazy. And so, but the weird thing is, so this woman, she found this documentary, and it's called, the word that starts with a G, has a Z after an A and another A. And, Dark Winter is in there. In this part of this title thing, it's the I don't know, long dark winter of, man, my stomach's growling like crazy. Long dark winter of something. It's a documentary. I don't know where it is. It's probably right there on Netflix, because this is the awakening. And so this is where people have to start seeing. So this woman is like freaking out. Like, okay, you guys, how in the hell did this happen in 2018 and 2019? And now they're showing it's happening right now because everything's in the documentary. All the stuff that they keep showing is in this documentary. And so it happened in 2018 and 2019, but then they're making like it's happening right now. So I don't know. I mean, it goes with the thing where they keep saying it's a movie, you guys. It's a movie. It's all a movie. But you have to see. You have to see what is real. And why they keep saying stuff like, you know, it's something about like it's a movie, but it's something about, you know, just try and remember everything's safe. You're okay. It's a movie. We're watching a movie play out. So then that was really like, whoa. So if 2018 and 2019, all this stuff went down. Like, I don't know what's going on over at the Strip right now. I mean, the footage that you see of like the star soldiers, they are, I mean, it's disgusting. And people are just outraged and disgusted. And then they show people over there in that area just out partying, having fun. And then when things go over to explode in the Strip, they all start cheering and stuff. It's like, that could totally be footage that's just fake too, because I think they're trying to get us to see the blue, see through, see what's true. And you know, and there's a lot to it. And I think that one of the biggest groups that need to see is the Christians. Christians have some loyalty to them because they want to suck that Zionist cock. It just cracks me up. I love that. Suck the Zionist cock. The guy says it so many times. It's hilarious. And so, but that is, I don't know. There's some weird shit. That's all I can say. And I think they're trying to get people to wake up and see. My stomach's like a fucking storm in there. It's like, oh, the parasites are like, this is bullshit, man. You're not eating enough. We want more sugar. Because I haven't been eating really any sugar either. I don't know. It's just weird. Like all of a sudden my peeing thing changed again. My food thing changed again. It's like it just keeps going. Like you'll change into one thing and it's like it just changed to another thing. Like all of a sudden you can be just starving. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't want to eat anything. All of a sudden it's like, well, I got to drink and pee every 5 minutes. And all of a sudden it's like, I haven't drank all day. And, you know, and you go in and pee and it's like water, like light yellow. It's like there's weird shit. A lot of weird stuff happening. I don't know, but right now my stomach's growling like crazy. So, okay, let me think. What I was gonna say. So over there, if this is a big show, and then it's how the people react. It's just like lock in how they feel about things, and then it's so divisive. It's because they're picking sides of something they don't know anything about. It's not their business. It's like they're interjecting themselves in someone else's business to give themselves relevance and importance. But that's all about ego and, you know, that they've got to save the world. This was kind of sad, but this was that's what I kept thinking while she was doing it. And it was sad, man. I mean, just seeing her whole thing, you know, she had like jacked up teeth. She had like, her makeup was, you know, kind of like you took black eyeliner and just kind of went a circle around your eye. And then her hair was kind of stringy. She didn't have the best skin. She was older and she was devastated and crying. And I think I had ran across her video before this one. And this is why I like kind of like, oh, this must be that lady. Because you didn't see her face in this other one that I'd seen. And I didn't watch the whole thing because it was one of those people. She was like, this is sad, man. Because there are a lot of people who think they're doing something good. It's like, you got to see if you're distracting yourself, the universe is going to keep directing you and directing you back to self. And people don't know, and they get so devastated when it happens. You know, and I was too, when I got a brain injury. But I knew what it was all about. But boy, that little guy, he's a hard one to love. Like he pushes me like, oh God, I can't wait. He pushes Stella too. He's like, So I think so. The what I was gonna say. Oh, hold on. It's like scattering around right now. It was like wind just blew in and all of the pieces of paper just went up in the air, so I have to catch it back where I was. So I was talking about, I wasn't talking about the strip anymore. I was talking about, oh yeah, the people. And that they were, what was I saying about the people? The people that were, oh, that's so weird when this happens. It's just like, it's weird because I'm just like, when I'm talking, I'm just trying to, I don't know. It just, the stuff comes in and so you're just seeing, and then all of a sudden it was like I have no idea what I was fucking talking about. It's weird. And it's so weird too if I see any of my videos because it's like, what was I? Fuck. I didn't even know I was saying that. I didn't even know I was talking about that. It's weird. But okay, let me think. As okay, maybe if I just skip out of there, because the people with their, fuck, I can't see it. I don't know what I was talking about. I know it was something with people. I can't remember if it was something about the strip. I remember I was talking about that. Was it sucking Zion's cock? That cracks me up. Fuck. Anyways, okay. Well, I'm just gonna skip off of it because it's bugging me, and I can't remember. But one thing I want to say about is this is really getting to me. Like it's really bothering me, and even when I try and say stuff in comments, it's just like fuck. It's like a feeding frenzy at this point. The Oregon Giant, and so somebody. I think I had made a comment on one of the things, and somebody commented on my comment and said, "Go search giant doors in the mountains, like on TikTok. You're gonna be surprised." So I did. There's so many being found. Like this guy's is only one, and even the footage where it slams shut. I don't think it was the footage from the Oregon one, because there's another one. And it is a door in it. This is the one I think that's going around that where the door slams shut. Because it's like in between two like peaks kind of. And then there's this one. And so then when it shuts, it looks like it connects them. But when it's open, but you don't get to see it open. You just see it close real quick. It's trippy looking. And looks like the mountain's moving and closes. And then the way the doors are set up, you can tell like there's like some kind of pulley or something. Like there's some kind of thing. And one guy climbed. He got all the way up to the top of the Oregon Giant door where he could see it right up there and goes, "Well, I'm not going any further." Good idea. It's like, fuck, I don't get these people. Like you're so wanting to see giants, but do you understand like the giant probably doesn't want to see you? I really feel like it was like at some point, like when they were tearing down Tartaria, did they even, some of the ones like that were prisoners of war or something, they said, well, you can go out into the mountains and hide. You can stay out there as long as we don't see you. You can go out there and live. Or did some just escape and just went out there? And so there had to be something that pushed these giants out into the woods like this, and they made homes out there. And so they, and one lady even, when you look up the doors, just search the mountain doors or whatever, one woman found a real little tiny one, and she goes, well, must be the Fae. And, but all this stuff is real. But the thing with giants is you got to think like if you were a giant, who you've been living on your own in the mountains, and I don't know how many of them have contact, if they do talk to each other, if they are near each other or anything like that, or if they very are separate, kind of like, you remember if you watched the RBG, Pretty sure that movie's called RBG, with the giants. And the giant goes and gets that kid, because the giant would go through the town at night and it could just all of a sudden blend into a building. And I don't remember if it was looking for food or what it was doing, but somehow it got this kid, but it wasn't one that wanted to eat kids. And so the kid was in its little house, but the other giants started coming and could smell him. And this giant was way smaller than the other giants, and the other giants were way more aggressive, and they could smell the human and they wanted to eat it. And it's a cute movie. But anyways, when you think about the giants, so that's, don't forget disclosure. And so but the giants aren't like people are so up their own ass. Like, you think the giant's gonna be like, oh, thanks for noticing, come on, come in, let's hang out. No, they don't. You think they trust humans? No. Do they eat them? Yes. Do they, I mean, when the Afghan one, in that story I've heard like 3 different times from 3 different sources. And it was Green Berets, I think they were. It was one of the special units. And they had gone on some maneuver, and they went up in the mountains. I think something had happened, so they went up to go see. Well, they never returned. And so they had to send a second group up to see where the first group went. And when they were going up, they found, and why are they not using, maybe they didn't have drones and shit then. Because why aren't they using all that stuff then? They've got everything that they can see. So I don't know, because I think that they know that there's giants in Afghanistan, because if you were in Afghanistan, supposedly it's just a well-known fact. You don't go out there, a giant will get you. And, just like in the Appalachian, if you were to talk to old Appalachian people who've been there a long time, they would tell you certain things. Don't go follow if you hear someone whistle, if you hear someone call your name, any of that stuff. So, folklore. And so they don't go up there. So then you think, well, okay, so the special forces had to know what they were dealing with. But so when they came around, so supposedly they're going down this ledge on the side of this mountain, and they're going down, and as they rounded the corner, the guys at the back, which Mr. Ballin, his friend, was at the back, or the guy he got the story from, he was at the back in the line of cars, of people going around this thing. When he came around, what he saw was already a bunch of dead ones, like bones and stuff. So the guys that had already gone up there the first time, they were already bones. They were already cleaned up and eaten. So this guy had already scavenged on scarfed them down. And there was remnants, he said, of dead people. And then there was, the giant came barreling out of the cave at the other people. And this was a really big one with red hair, because this one got shot and he got taken in a helicopter. And then they tried to say it was something else and stuff, but they took this giant. And they took him. I bet you I'm saying this word too many times, because this is really becoming a thing. So they went, and it's all to keep us, the truth hidden from us, so that we can stay, dutiful little slaves. And so when they went around, and there's all these dead people, all of the guys in front of him were already fighting. They're shooting and stuff, and this guy is throwing like spears or something. He was using some kind of weapon and killing them. And but then he got shot so many times that he went down and he died. And he stunk, supposedly, and was real yucky and stuff. And so, but, I mean, if all these people are trying to kill you, what would you do? And that is what it would seem if you were a giant living up here and you slammed your door shut. It's like, you don't want to be bothered. And if he wanted to be bothered, he would have come out, opened the door, and said, hey, you little person down there, why don't you come up here and feed me? But he didn't want to be seen, because that's what made me think of, I wonder if they made a deal. Somehow made a deal, because the one guy, the Canadian, I think the guy's Canadian, I can't think of his name. He's dead now. But he was the first one who got this footage. And it blew up. It went huge. And he was driving or something. He was with some other people, because he's talking. He's like, look at that up there. And you see a giant and he's running across the top of a mountain. And so we got that footage, and then I don't know, they came after him, and then he disappeared. And then they put all of a sudden a military thing up there where he had seen it. So suddenly there became a military place up on top of this place. And it just makes me feel like was there some kind of a deal, like, you guys can be here, but we start seeing you, we're going to take you out. And so you have to stay hidden. And then, you know, you got these people who are trying to expose you. So I don't know. The guy who got that footage, he's gone. And it was really young, too. So everybody was already suspicious about that. He had already got the tails of wagging. This new guy who, that one video, this was the other day, too. It had 4.4 million views. But like I said, he was saying, like, he couldn't even believe it. Everywhere he goes, everybody knows him now. Everybody's talking to him. The place is full of people trying to climb up there. Yesterday, I saw that video of the one guy who climbed all the way up there. And he goes, well, I'm not going to go all the way up there. But he goes, he said something. And then he said, now here's some steps. So someone's been up here before. And he stepped down in it. And he goes, but my foot's not this big. And it was like having a foot like this big in a hole this big. So giants are fucking big. And even on the part where it looked like it had gone up. So if it comes out of its door and just reaches up and pulls itself up onto the ledge above it. And then here, it can just take a couple steps down. Like, these are way bigger people. The door is really huge because now they've got this drone footage that goes up and you can see it's like a door. It has like a hole to look out of. And then on this, and what's trippy is it's almost like an address or something. Like a face of a giant is on the side of the mountain. It's trippy. It's like, oh, that's weird. And so then the one guy, the original guy who got it, he keeps going there. And there's a whole bunch of people there now trying to go up. And people doing their drones and stuff. And now he was standing out there yet. I think it was yesterday. Because this has all happened just in a few days. Like, this is real fast. And two big giant white SUVs with no license plates drove by him. And he's like, well, I guess now things are about to, you know, they're going to, because the army will go in and then they'll take them and kill them and stuff. And, oh man, fuck, I don't know. This one's got attention, but this isn't the only one. There was one in Ireland. Like, there's a bunch of them who seem to be slamming their doors suddenly. So there's one in Ireland, and it almost seems like it's a fake news story or something, because the news guy's out here doing a news story, and there's all these family people over trying to get over to this door, and it's on the side by, like, looking out over the ocean. And they show the part that slammed on that one, and it was like a big, like, door, so that it was like if you opened your door, you would just sit and look out at the ocean. And so his door had slammed shut, but this news guy was saying because they're calling him the Irish something, like in folklore or something. Like, well, we knew he was here. We'd heard about it. Now you can hear him in there snoring because you can hear him snoring. It's like, and I don't know if it's because we've been raising our vibration, we're becoming more aware of it because we're pulling free from what we were focused on, that we're becoming more aware of this stuff. But, you know, maybe he was always out there snoring. Maybe there's always been this shrieking in the sky. I don't think so. I definitely, yesterday out here, I heard things that to me was like, oh my gosh, this is a shrieking. The sky is starting to shriek everywhere. Then when I heard on Duran, and it was shrieking this morning over in LA, and then there's another place. There's more places that are having this shrieking outside. And the one guy in Pennsylvania this morning, he was showing there's no moon. There's no moon. There's a bunch of people showing there's no moon anywhere. There's no stars. So we're all getting these different skies. Some people have this aurora, this crazy aurora going, which on my thing right now, there's aurora. So a lot of people have that going, all the crazy lights and stuff. some people have no stars, some people have 2 moons, some people, like, it's whacked. And that's why I keep telling people, like, if you think that's going on, just go Google the sky videos and just, you know, wrap your head around all the shit going on in the sky. And oh my gosh, some of the wildest stuff I've seen. Like, man, I've seen a lot of wild shit in person, but look, the videos that other people are getting, it's wild. And so there's, because there was the one door that shuts, that's a totally different mountain. That might even be in Colorado, but there's a whole bunch of these. There's a bunch of people who are going out in the mountains, hiking way out too, that are looking for, you know, the truth, the artifacts and stuff, and people are finding wild stuff. And so there's a whole thing about that. And there's, okay, let me think, because there was something else I was going to say about that. Because the vibration, but the vibration, that is what makes you more aware when you stop paying such close attention to, that's the 3D world trap, keep your mind just occupied. Then when you pull, it's like it has a grip on your grip on your mind, and so you got to like pull the grip off, and all of the ways that it's holding you are ways you've allowed it. It's things that you've, you know, decided that, well, everybody else is doing it, you know, well, nobody's gonna know, you know, that kind of stuff. It holds you, and so then you just keep spinning about it, and it's a mind trap. So that's why you gotta like release those things. So like you can call them paradigms. There's like a cage, like you've caged yourself. And so you've got to, you know, dismantle the cage. You got to remove the grip. You gotta, you know, and you can't just be like, well, now I'm aware of it, so now I'm gonna let go, because then you'll find all of a sudden you're thinking about this. You're thinking about it in this certain way. You're thinking about it through this person's perspective. You're thinking about it through this way. You know, and that's where you got to keep like reeling back in. Well, what do I think about this? What do I feel about this? And then anything you're interested in, of course, you know, you got to do some research into it. And Crystal said there's some people on here who have just dedicated their channel, I think, to, well, she said one guy is talking a lot about what's going on. And so, you know, I'm sure there's got to be a lot of people who are talking about this, because it is, especially for the conspiracy theorists and stuff, it just is like, I just don't get, like, if you're a conspiracy theorist and stuff, then how are you being so disrespectful to the giants? Why wouldn't you be thinking, like, you know, about they got to be protected, especially when you know, like, the soldiers would come in and fucking slaughter them. And then, you know, like our hidden history, that there was obviously a mass slaughter of these people. And then you go back to the Gaia channel and you find out the important role of the giants on this planet. So, I don't know. There's just a lot, you know. If I ran across that thing, I mean, I would probably want to tell y'all, you know, I'm sure. So, look, it's just like, this is the awakening. Like, it's all gonna go, but I am just shocked how many of these people just go out there and think like they're just gonna go so aggressive towards this guy. Like, man, I just don't understand. Do they not understand what this guy eats? Do they think like this guy wants to hang out with them? Like, if he wanted to hang out with us, he would come down. Come down out of the mountain. And, you know, that's not even all the different things up in the mountains. Like, you know, it's everywhere. There's portals, there's ways to go. And then some people have found other doors, like real doors inside of mountains with caves and stuff. So there's like a whole world. There's a whole world around us. There's a whole world underneath us. There's world upon world. But we're just focused on this world, and then all of a sudden when we start realizing there's more to it, it's just that the way they kind of go about it, it's like, well, we got to prove there's giant, we got to prove there's sea monsters, we got to prove there's mermaids, we got to prove there's, it's like, well, I've known it the whole time. Like, Yeah, I've known Bigfoot. I've known all that stuff was that real old time. Fucking vampires are real. They're called Rockefeller and Rothschild. Like, all this stuff is real. And so, I don't know. It's like, how trapped was your mind? Like, is this really just so like, what? Like, I can't believe it. Like, it's weird, man. Because I was so on the other side of that. I was the one trying to tell people, and I would be laughed at. But it's like, look, you guys really didn't believe. Like, did you? You really thought like all this stuff was not real, and now you're all scared of aliens, and you're scared of what, what's next? What's next? Well, this world, this three-dimensional world that they created to trap us, is gonna blow the fuck up, so that we can go back to our, living in the folklore, living in the fairy tale, getting back into what's real, and not this weird movie world habitat life they created for us. It's just, I don't know, it just blows my mind how so many people really thought like, yeah, the dollhouse is all there is. It's just it. Oh, and there's more shit now. Like, it's funny when you just see all these people putting stuff together, like even with like Universal Studios or like, is it Universe? I watch these old movies all the time. Like MGM is the lion. They had the one where the Statue of Liberty lady and her flame, and then they'd have the one with space, with the Earth spinning around. And so then somebody had figured out, like, well, they started doing that like in 1913, yet they didn't ever discover that the Earth was a globe until when they left and went to the moon, and then they looked down and saw that's the first time they ever saw that. So how in the world did they do that years and years and years, decades before? Because it's all made up. They didn't want you to put together the pieces. We're not out spinning in space. We're this land. It's like this land. Well, it's not even real, anyways. It's all it's all vibration. But we get to have the illusion of where we are. Is all this is shaking really fast. So in the illusion of where we are in this place, it is it's a land mass, a bubble, and it's real cool. But there's all sorts of things inside of it. There's other realities, and there's realities outside of our bubble. Because there's people who are inner Earth that they have awareness of us. We don't have awareness of them. And this was so is that today? I think today. No, because Wednesday's the 15th, so today's the 14th, I think. Yeah, so Wednesday I think is the 15th. I don't know, I could be off on the days. But the 16th is the one on the Lockheed thing, that where in that little picture it showed something was going to come through the firmament. And then all of a sudden yesterday I see that they gave Elon the go, that he's got the most powerful rocket ever known. It's like, I don't know, they were explaining about. And in their whole thing is they're going to bust the firmament. They're going to bust through. And so, I don't know. I don't know if this is just another cover-up for all the shit going on, like all this stuff in the sky. Like, okay, well, we'll just go up and bust it. And I don't know. Like, because you'd have to be, it can only bust from frequency. But we have all this shit, this outrageous shit going on. So is that what they're going to try and make it like, well, the rocket did this, and not have it be like a natural thing that happened and try and keep covering stuff up? I don't know. I mean, they keep on saying like, Trump, he supports the blue people. And I just don't know how it's all going to play, how it's all going to spin, but it's all spinning, that's for sure. And Lockheed thing had a new one on, and this one was, this one was yesterday. It had something that said some stuff, and then it had an A highlighted. And if you pressed on the A, it took you to a footage that starts at 17 seconds. And so then it does some footage. I can't remember. I think it was saying, like it's all going to go to peace and love. Like, and the person who was shown, who was so excited. He's like, you guys, you've got to know who's doing this. They are trying to tell people. And there is stuff going on with the clocks. Like our debt's going up, but the other stuff's going down. So see, that's where it's going to hit. Just like the banks, they're trying to sell off their stock, but their stock's going for zero, which is going to collapse them. Because there's nothing that they can do at this point to save themselves. Like this is all going. I mean, it's fucking pretty slow. And there's all this stuff coming out now. The Titanic never sunk. Like that was all made up. There's so much stuff that has been made up. Like there was this woman, this interview, and she's this old lady, and she's like, it didn't ever seem like, well, that's news to me. Well, and then I had heard that they had sunk a different one, but I don't even know at this point how many of our stories are made up. I mean, once you have to wrap your head around how Anne Frank was made, it's like, and I don't know if hers was a real story from the 20s or something, and that stuff happened, and then, like, I don't know, like, did this stuff happen, and then they tried to use the story later, like what they're doing over at the Strip, like, oh, this happened, so 4 or 5 years from now, we'll pretend like it's happening right now, or is it still just been happening the whole time? And then when you see the footage of all these little, these little dark kids on the edge of this place, that if you do certain crimes, it's okay, you can go there, it's no big deal, they allow that there, so it's your safety zone. And then all these people that do that just so happen to have this little prison system. They're all caged in here. They don't have any parents and stuff, a whole bunch of them, hopeless. And then, I mean, go and, hey, you over there, we'll take you, come with us. And then take them, and then, they may think like, oh God, we're getting out. I'm sure, there's got to be a lot of them. At this point, it's like, man, they take you never come back. Like that clone farm, like how that movie, that book about that they were raising all these clones. And so then there's people who have said, like, they collected our DNA all the way back from when we were kids. Like they've all got access. Like they've probably been making little clones. And for all we know, that they've been growing us in a lab already, and then feeding us back to us. That's what these people are like. And they think it's funny because we're so disgusting and ignorant. It's like we disgust them, and so then they try and do things to just show how disgusting we are. But like we don't know. But then we're like, oh, well, that tastes good. Like when I see these people who, God damn, this is the best cheeseburger. Oh my God, I love it. I even saw this girl. This was wild. I went in and looked at her comments because her whole thing. That's why I keep saying, like, people are not, they're awake to what they focus on. And hers her focus, her thing is called sucka. And her focus has been, the poisoning and all of that stuff. She's always talking about that. So yesterday she does a video. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I just went in and said, gross, you know better than this. But she went and took her kids to McDonald's for breakfast. And then she got herself a sausage sandwich. And everybody in the comments was like, oh my God. Like, girl, you know the people you're talking to. Like, your focus may be this, but we have got a broader focus. We see a lot more, apparently, because you're going to McDonald's to get a sausage sandwich. Are you fucking kidding me? Gross. And so I don't even know. I'm sure she was harassed all day about that. Maybe that got her a new focus now. So like she's gonna start looking into that and share about that. Because yeah, I mean, especially you go to McDonald's, like they've already been busted. That's already out there. What's mixed in with their stuff. They've done DNA on it, like, which really gets gross. Like, man, like you go and do that, and then, oh my God, and how many are we missing? Oh my God, you're on missing kid. Well, we found them. Yeah. We got these little parts left. We're not sure how much of him is in here, but you can take this burger and bury it. Oh, this, man. So, San Francisco. So, my daughter was just there. I even sent her a video and I said, so which San Francisco did you see? Because apparently old G's on his way over and they got to clean it up. Well, was it really for that? Or was it, something else? Because, so one video shows what San Francisco really looked like. And it was just tent city down the roads, You wanted to go into a shop, you had to walk around the tents and the garbage to get into the places. And I had heard, people kept saying it's so deteriorated, it's gross, and it's dangerous. And so then, all of a sudden they said, well, this Jing's all coming to visit. We gotta clean this up. And overnight, all the homeless were disappeared. They were just like gone. Like, that's weird. So for some reason, you can't do this at all. We're all have got this. Like, if I go to Philly, maybe they ought to, figure shit out. But somehow overnight, which now they're saying also that the big fire that is taking down this road, that they don't even know when it's going to be open again, which I am just still tripped out that I saw that when it was starting. And the accent of who was showing it. In the footage I was seeing, I was like, because I was trying to pay attention, is this a homeless thing? Like, are these barrels with fire in it? But there was no fucking way that this was like a garbage dump under the fucking city bridge. I was like, people couldn't be living down here. I didn't see anything where it looked like you could go and live or sleep. There was no tents or anything. And it was all on fire. And so, but now the news is reporting it was a homeless camp. And it was the homeless who started this. But there's other people who are like, well, why was all this stuff under there? Because it turned into a big disaster. And I'm not there, so I don't even know what else going on their news. I just trips me out that I had seen that. And then it turned into such a huge fucking thing. So that one, so that they're saying, oh, they cleared out that. It's cleared out now. But in San Francisco, so overnight, all of a sudden, all the stuff is gone. All the people, all the stuff is gone. Streets all perfectly clean. And so some footage just shows these beautiful, clean streets, nothing there. But then all of a sudden they moved in all these big, those giant troughs, like of the horses or whatever, big silver troughs. And people use them for planters. Well, San Francisco thought that'd be cool. We'll put a bunch of those everywhere. So everywhere where those tents were, they decided to line up these, it's like a cemetery. And then on all of them has 2 or 3 little bushes coming up. Well, it's just so funny how, that's their big thing, is that they're telling us about going green. Is like, you got to just liquidate people and then you put them in and you use them as fertilizer and you grow things. And then, so we're going to take you and we're going to liquefy you, and we're going to put you in this little thing right here because it looks like fucking coffins. I wasn't the only one saying it. Other people in the comments were like, oh my God, this looks like coffins. And there had to be other people who had seen about the liquidation. And that, in putting it on plants, and then how they all have these perfect 2 plants in each one, like, how many people are in these things. And for all we know, there's bodies just in them. Like, fuck, maybe it's gonna be stinking real bad in San Francisco soon. Maybe they haven't even liquefied it. Maybe they're just using the soil to turn it into fossil fuel. And so I don't know. It's creepy though. So the whole way going down, it looks like you have all these coffins with these bushes in them, and all the homeless people are just gone. Just gone. I don't know. It's just like, this shit just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. I was so glad though this morning when I saw Jerron. I mean, it was so cute, right? He got us so excited over a fucking Mercedes emblem, which is, artificial, superficial stuff, but still, it's cute how just something so simple can make someone so happy. But I was so happy to hear the scream. I was like, okay, shit has got to be going on. Like, and is Elon gonna go and throw that fucking, try and shoot through? And so we're gonna have shit start going on big. Like, if he goes and he does that, I would assume we're gonna have some shit go down up in the sky. Like, it's got to be all a part of it. All this stuff, because everything is about the awakening. That's what the whole fucking thing is about. But everything through your awakening, you have triggers. Like, I just really blows my mind, because now you do have a lot of light workers who are saying, okay, guys, this is it. This is it. This is when you're going to see what you're here for. And then people saying, if you're a generator, you need to be doing this. You're going to be worn out. And like, they've got all these things that they say. And so, if you're not healed, which I can see things of my own stuff that, you constantly need to heal. But through all of this stuff, if you haven't been working on it, it will feel hard. It will feel very hard to have people pull on you. It's an energetic drain. And so and then putting up your boundaries and stuff. So it's going to be a whole thing. And I think a lot of people who think that they're here for it are going to find out they are also in need of it. They're going to be needing that because they haven't faced all their stuff. And you don't realize how much something pulls on what it's pulling on. Oh, someone's trying to take something from me. Someone's trying to make me do something. There's just things that'll come up that you got to heal through. You got to see, like, why do I feel like that? Why am I acting that way? Why do I feel that way? And then we've had all this, preparation to get ready. And it just, it just blows my mind how there's all these spiritual people who are just like, yeah, there's people who are just not meant to wake up, y'all. We're the chosen. We're the ones who are here for this, so, And it's like, and then, when it switches and it goes and all those people start waking up, it blows their little stories apart. But there is a lot of them now who are saying that now they're starting to see what they're here for. But they think it's kind of like carrying the energy. Like we're doing the energy to shift. Like they're focusing on the positive. So it's shifting it or something. And it's like, that's, it's different than that to me. It is, to me, the energy comes from all the people. And it's the 100th monkey. Like you can't get away from your awakening. It's the dominoes. Once the dominoes start going, they start going. And it's wherever you are in that place when your domino is hit into, what about that? Well, what's going on over there? Well, why is this happening? All of a sudden, you're just like, aware of stuff and questioning things. And then it's when things start being not what you think they are. That's when it starts really messing with your mind. And so you have all these people who have just been so locked into a certain narrative, a certain storyline, which I think has been an inaccurate storyline. And, that the planet's ascending you without you doing anything. Just stay high vibration by focusing only on love and light. Ignore everything around you. And you're chosen. The other people, they just, they're not chosen. And they're going to die and stuff. So, I don't know. To me, it is, that those of us who were awake, we woke up for a reason. We had, when I was doing my healing way before other people started waking up, like I didn't even know for sure what it was going to be like. I just knew there was going to be a lot of bad things that were going to happen. And it was going to be like this come to Jesus moments. Everybody was going to hit the bottom and just be like, what does it all mean? What am I doing here? You had to get to that point. Let you come to Jesus moment. Like, why? Why drop you to your knees? Like, I've tried everything. I'm doing everything. But you're doing what you think is right. You're not following your universal You're not on the ride. You're fighting the ride all the way. So the universe is going to knock you down and make sure that you see, like, no, you're not living your best life. You're trying to, it's like the ride is going, but you're trying to override the ride. You're trying to skip it and jump and, you're trying to make it your own ride. It's like the ride's going. Sit down and buckle up. And so anyways, but it's people have to start realizing what the universe is all about. So, so those of us who are waking up early, and healing, that has been the biggest thing. You got to heal the stuff. That's what they had told me too. Confirmation when I went through my dark night and stuff, that this is going to happen to everybody. Everybody's going to go through this. And so then it was, I could see the point of the healing and stuff, and I was focused on trying to wake up my family, trying to get people to see things, and nobody would. And I had to keep going internal. Like, there was nobody to talk to. I mean, like, people who think that you're isolated now in your awakening, oh, Jesus. Just imagine 5 years ago. Like, it was fucking a lonely, lonely road. And so, but it was fucking, I feel so lucky. I just saw another guy, and he was saying, man, and this was a big black guy, and he's like, for the first time in my life, I love myself, man. I mean, I really, really love myself. It was hard, too. It was hard to get there. And so somebody's asking him questions. It's like an interview. I don't know who the guy is. He might be famous. And so he's being interviewed, and the guy's like, says something to him. He goes, well, you gotta, because a lot of people think, like, you go get your nails done, your toes done, and that's taking care of yourself. But that's not it, man. It is, you gotta be alone. You gotta be by yourself. Like, I love being alone. You gotta be by yourself, and you won't like it. Like, but then you learn to love it. You learn to love yourself through it, and that's what I found too. The being alone, when all you have is you, it is important. And that's why I'm always saying, I kind of feel bad for people who are trying to do it with other people around, because I think it's harder. You got other people's emotions and energy interfering with yours, when you can just focus on yourself and just focus on the messages coming in, feel your pain and all that stuff. And it's transformative. It really is. And I think that is why tribes and stuff used to use it. Send the guy out into the forest. If he could survive a winter alone, then he was a man. Because, yeah, you have to pull parts of yourself forward that you don't even know exist, where you learn to fall in love with yourself, because it's like, fuck, man, I'm fucking badass. And that is where you start feeling good about yourself, and you start loving yourself. You start seeing yourself in a different way. And it is so transformative, but, it's important. But that's what everything is about. And so those of us who are awake, to me, it was because we had to do our healing and we had to see what was going on, because that would help us through this. Like, I don't feel scared. I mean, not to say I don't sit there and think, like, when the wind starts going, that starts being like, fuck, a damn tree that comes in, like, yesterday, even last night, which here the weather is so fucking whacked, man. It's just doing weird things. Like, right when it starts to get dark, it gets really, really hot. And then here, like right now, right before it gets light, it gets so fucking cold. So it's like, that is weird. I don't know. There's just weird stuff. Everything seems backward, which that is what everything is. Everything is turning backwards. Everything's turning upside down. The sky, everything is flipping. And so, it all has to do with that. But I was out there last night taking the jacket to go potty and stuff, and it was so loud. Oh my God, it seemed so chaotic, and I could hear that scream, like, off in the distance, that howling sound. And I was like, oh, I can hear that sound. but there's so much other sounds going on, and everything was so loud, like people just talking, people revving their engines, someone drive. It was weird. I was like, oh my God, everything just seems so weird and chaotic and creepy, and the sounds and stuff, and people just keep trying to live their lives, and it's like everything is like, it's so weird. And so to me, this flipping, which, so many people are just keep trying to scurry along, like trying to keep up with what's going on in the world. And, just don't pay attention to anything that bothers you. And you just get to work, get your check. Like these poor Amazon people, they're just trying to get to work, and then their jobs just ripped out from under them, which, there's going to be so many things. I mean, that one could have been, something with that, because there's a reset happening too. Like things are being taken away that aren't going to be a part of the future. And so I don't know, Amazon, I would say, maybe we will still have Amazon, some form of Amazon, but it will be a different way, like of more of people who can sell their stuff, not just buying stuff from third parties, selling Chinese goods or something, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of switching things. And but then also, there's a lot of, firing people, so they can go into their dark night, so they can go into, I don't need this, I can save myself, I don't need that, I don't need this, I don't need that. It's like you got to start seeing you don't need all the things you thought you needed. You think you need this to be okay, you think you need this to be happy, but it's like the universe is going to take it away, so you can see, like, I don't need that, I don't need that. So you can find your joy and see what's important for your priorities and what's, live your life better. But to me, those of us who have been going through this awakening for however long, because there's some people who are, further ahead who've only been awake a couple years. It all depends on what stuff you had to heal, what you had to do, it's all your stuff. And then, so those of us who have been doing it, for one thing, I think it is, like I said, it's helped me a lot with patience. Like, even when I think, oh, I'm doing so good with my patience, and then fucking Jack comes in, shows me, oh, really? You think so? I was like, oh my God, dude, you really pushed me. You pushed me beyond. But, we all have these challenges. And, am I supposed to stop him from challenging me, or am I supposed to grow from my challenges? I think we're supposed to grow from our challenges, not stop the challenges from happening. We're supposed to grow. So if he's pushing me and irritating me, I've got to go into like patience or some sort of surrender in me. I've got to see, and if I've got a blockage why I can't do that, I need to process through it and let go of what's holding me back. Because that is, you got to keep thinking, what is your goal? What's your goal? We're working in our pretend life to get to our dead life. Like we're finding our vibration of us in our soul while we're in the avatar. But so you gotta your vibration, you're meeting up with your vibration. So it's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna sit in my happy place and that's high vibration. No, you're meeting your soul. Your soul's vibration is higher than the avatar. Remember how I said that? Your soul is a higher vibration. This place is low vibration. And so your vehicle for this place is, man, it was like in its lowest vibration, its lowest vibratory form was flesh and blood, because it was so caught up into the story, the paradigm, it was a part of the story. But so then when you start pulling free from that concept, letting go of that and pulling more towards yourself, that is going towards your soul. So you're going towards your highest vibrational aspect. And all of the things that you trapped yourself, the vehicle, the garage you built around your vehicle, that's what you got to dismantle so that you can get to your soul, because it's not in alignment with this place, believe you me. And so you have to allow this place to fall away. So you have this process to go through to dismantle your garage so your vehicle can be free, so that the driver can then raise the vibration. So your vibration is meeting up to your soul's vibration. So that's what you've got to keep thinking. Like, what are your goals? Your soul's vibration is love, acceptance, kindness. It's like, the heavens are all vibing high on the love. So you want to get up in that here. So that's what you're transitioning. That's your bridge into the age of Aquarius. Because you got to think about the age of Aquarius is high vibing. That's like living in the heavens. And so how do you go from this dark hell into the high vibe? You don't do it just by focusing on the light, because then you're not seeing your darkness. It's like the lights come in to shine on your darkness so you can get the darkness out. It's like someone came into your garage and turned the lights on so you could see like what a fucking mess it was. So you don't just turn the lights back out and go out of the garage and go, well, I don't want to look at that, it's messy. That's a lot. Let's just go out here and look at the sun. Let's just stare at the sun and just pretend like our car's clean, the garage is clean, everything's fine. Let's just look at the sun. Then you're distracting yourself from the work you need to do, which a lot of people have done. So when you're doing the work, though, when this happens, because don't forget, I'm saying a lot of these people are going to also be on the fucking stretcher when it flips, because they have been, just like I said, like they just turned the lights back out. I don't want to look at that. Let's go out here. And so they haven't been doing the work. And so when the thing flips, it is what they were showing me all the time. They made it so clear that one day when I was driving into town and I was at that light and the traffic was going and everything. And all of a sudden I felt so outnumbered. I was like, oh my God, all these people are just living this three-dimensional life, not thinking, not just all on autopilot, just scurrying around to get to the next appointment, not thinking or anything. And it was just overwhelmingly feeling like, oh my God, this is like, you're so outnumbered. There's so many of them and so few of us. And I've been shown this in so many different ways, even as kind of like a grid, like there's light around and then there's grids. So each of us who bring in the light, we have like a grid that we're powering through our light and through our vibration. We're sending out. And then the more that we all keep coming and connecting, the more our energies are connecting. So it's kind of like our energies connecting start to begin to hug the planet. And so then as these people all awaken, see, it's not like any of us can rescue them. Like, that's a big thing. You got to get out of your head. You can't rescue anybody. You can't do the healing for them. Just nothing, It is way more of holding the light and being a way shower, to show like, I did it. You can do it, These are what I did. I did this and I did that and it worked for me. And everybody's got different things. There's different people out there who try different techniques. And that's why we've got like all different perspectives, because we need all different perspectives, because I know for sure not everybody understands what the fuck I'm talking about. And so when it switches, when this big switch happens, the lights come on and then people have to see their dirty garage, then it's going to be very impactful. And so those of us who have been doing the work, that's when we're going to see like, oh, it's going to just make so much more sense. But it's not like you can go in and save anybody or do anything. It's just like, you couldn't have the whole planet do it all at once. It had to come in like a gradation. And so the gradation, so the ones at the forefront, like those of us who have been doing the work for a long time, we would be, the way showers, the light holders, whatever. We would be at the front of the line going forward. And like how they kept showing me, it's like everybody's facing the wrong direction right now. But then when the lights come on, all of a sudden they're going to be facing, and there's going to be like a few of us standing there. And they're all going to turn and look at us like, what's the answers? What does it all mean? What am I doing here? What is this place? Why am I here? And it's going to be on all levels. The healing, the trauma, it's going to be on all levels. There's definitely going to be some people who are not going to be able to power through. The amount of suicide that's going to go on when this happens is going to be astronomical. It's going to be extreme. And just like how we just have these crazy killings going on all over the place right now, just fucking mad hatter shit, man. So, but it's going to be when people all of a sudden, and their garage light comes on and they see their vehicle surrounded by a bunch of muck, it's going to be overwhelming to them, especially when they see like they drug all the muck in. They did it. And it's like, fuck. So then, you just got to keep working at it. But that's going to be the thing. And that's why, to me, I have a really hard time thinking that I would put all these years into this. The universe would keep it over here in this little secret compartment that few people got to come in and find me. That when, because they've shown me and shown me and shown me, when it switches, that it's going to be a big impact on channels like mine. It's going to be huge. And just like how so many people are like scattering in, and, I'll see a video go up to like 800, and then the videos around it'll go 300, 400, like the seekers, the people who are out seeking, trying to understand like what the fuck is going on, man. And, it's part of the process of awakening. And always the best thing to do is just keep asking questions, and keep your conversation in here. You don't have to have all your conversation out, because everybody's at different levels. Not everybody understands stuff. Like sometimes I'll go and I'll hear somebody explaining something, and you can get all caught up and think like, oh, am I doing that? But it's the way they explain it. And you got to think like, no, I'm not doing that. I just wouldn't look at it that direction. I look at it differently than that. So you got to see, like some people, everybody's at all different levels. And so but when all of a sudden, the lights come on and everybody's turned the other direction in confusion, there's going to be channels like this where they can go in and listen. I think that is, I don't know. My power went off yesterday. It was still downloading and my power went off, and I was just like, fuck it. I was like, maybe this is it. Maybe it won't come back on. I'll be fine. I don't care. I just went out and started breaking. It was real dark in here. I was just like, fuck it. Let's go outside. Let's go do something out there. And so I was outside for a long time, and everybody's generators are going, and I don't turn my generator on. I have one in case I need it, because like, as you know, you don't want to live out where you can lose your power and not have one. So I have one. But then once they start doing all this stuff with the petroleum and stuff, and it's like, and even if you had a solar one, they're doing all this stuff fucking with that. Like everything is just to keep pushing us into a surrender of sorts. It's like a constant surrender of like, the universe has got my back. I don't need to fucking stress this. I don't need to worry about this. The universe has got me. I just need to be true, be authentic. When people come up to me and talk to me, I got to be authentic and true, not mask up, not pretend. I got to be able to set my boundaries. I got to be vulnerable. I got to be aware. I got to be open and not judgmental. Like it's always giving you opportunities. Like people you meet, you sit there and be like, oh my God, what an asshole. Then you stop and go like, ooh, why did I do that? Why did I all of a sudden think that guy was an asshole? Was he an asshole? Am I being an asshole? Do I think he's an asshole? What did I, and just go through it. Come up, like, why am I being judgmental on somebody? Why am I doing this? Just keep asking yourself questions. That's how you heal, is to try and get to the awareness of yourself, to understand yourself. And as you are trying to understand yourself, you're just going to find that a lot of the things you do are just reactive. They're just things that you just do because You're protecting yourself. You're pretending to be somebody you're not. They're just automatic responses. So that's what you want to get through so you can let those go. But to me, there's going to be a huge amount of people that are going to go into some kind of an existential crisis, some kind of a dark night, all at the same time. And then there's going to be a lot of reactions. We're going to have reactions with anger. We're going to have reactions with depression. We're going to have reactions with crying. We're going to have reactions with one after another. It's going to be wild when the lights come on, for sure. It's not going to just go all of a sudden like the lights come on and everybody goes, oh, okay. No, because they've been living in the dark. They've been living like, well, nobody's going to really know. Everybody else does it. But then, yeah, everybody else does it. But when the lights come on and you feel exposed for what you've done, it's not going to matter who else did it. You can sit there, oh, victim, oh, well, they made me. No, your soul won't play that game. Your soul's going to be like, yeah, but why did you follow along? When in you followed along. So it's like your soul will be relentless. It will keep pushing you to understand yourself. It's not going to let you just become victim. And if you want to get into that role, you're just going to keep going around in circles and feel beat down and feel exhausted. That's not what the universe wants. So it'll just leave you there spinning. You're on the spin mode. Like my dryer now. Not only won't heat up, it just doesn't turn off. Never reaches its time. It'll just keep going and going and going and going. It's weird. And but that's kind of like, you know, what's going to happen with these people. They're just spinning. They're just on the spin mode. And they're not doing anything. They're not making any progress. You got to, you know, you got to be more deliberate. You got to be more focused. Change your focus into you. And like that guy said, it's not about going to get your nails done. I said that a while ago. How many women think like that's self-care? No. But when I try and talk to my daughter when she's going through something, and I'll say, and they'll be like, well, yeah, I'll go down and get my feet done, or I'll go read a book. It's like, no, those are distractions. Those are all distractions. You got to focus on your pain. You got to relieve it. You got to let it go. When a trigger comes in, you can't ignore it. You got to process it. Otherwise, it will just sit in there haunting you. It's like you just opened the Pandora's box, and now you got the demons, you got the ghosts in there just haunting you and playing with your mind and stuff. You got to process. You got to let this stuff out of you. And you got to be aware that this is all real. Like, go at it like a conversation. I was really glad I heard somebody say this the other day, too. Another person who had woke up, and they said, you know, I've started having conversations in my head. And they said, it's not just like talking, but it's like a committee. It's like a committee comes in and we have a whole meeting. What have I been saying? What have I been saying? I spend my life before the committee. I'm always talking to the committee. We all have a whole fucking committee. And so once you get into the committee, yeah, shit starts making sense. They'll tell you. They'll call you out. They'll tell you things. They won't do it out of judgment. You never feel judged. You will judge your own self, but they don't judge you. They're always trying to make you see something bigger. It's like, that's why it's like we're so limited in our perspective. We narrow down. It's like go into 3D when it's like everything is out here, but we're focused right here. But when you pull back your focus. And then when you're talking to them, you can't help but pull back your focus because their focus is way out here. So they point things out where it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I'm doing this all the time. Oh, that makes so much sense. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. Like, I'm doing that all the time. Like, you have a committee available. Everybody does. And and I don't know, maybe we're all sharing the same committee. I don't fucking know. I just know that there's a committee. Definitely a group. Like I said, it's like up in here to me, this is Starship Enterprise. Like there's like a conversations going. There's people over here doing this, people over here doing that. Like it's a whole thing. So, okay, anyways, so, you know, this, when the lights come on, there's going to be a huge wave that's going to come in, like a tsunami. And it's going to be a big energy, and it's going to change. And I really, really think it's going to be way less people. All these people out there, oh, we're the chosen, we're the chosen. I don't think they're going to be standing over here. I think there's going to be some. There's going to be some that have really been doing the work. But it's not going to be like all of them. It's not going to be like all these. There's being so many of these life coaches and spiritual gurus being called out by people. So many. And so many people saying, like, you got to quit giving these people your money. They're bullshit. And then there's ones, I guess, are on relationships, and they're just keeping division. And so, you know, there's a lot of people out there who are being listened to and respected while we're in the dark. But they're going to be exposed. They're being exposed as the light comes in. But when the light turns on, that's when they'll feel naked. That's when they'll feel really exposed. And who knows how many of them, I mean, it's all on intention too. Like if you have good intentions, you're really trying to do something good, but you're going to have to see your ego too. Because this is all about that. It's all about this, you know, getting control of yourself. That's what all this awakening is about. You know, so you quit living your life as the fucking broken down jalopy, and you start living your life as a fucking warrior. So, anyways, always when they show me, when the lights come on, it is very, very small amount. Just as much as there's those of us who out here speaking who people just think we're weird and stupid and don't want to listen to us. And I get this all the time. I can talk to spiritual people, and they have a different thing, a different philosophy. And so but my guides are always showing me that the numbers are going to be extreme, and how many people need to heal and how many people are healed. And the people who are healed, which you're not ever going to be 100%, you're always going to, if you're questioning yourself, you're always going to find tweaks and stuff. Well, I could do better. Well, I could think better than that. Well, I could, you know, like Jack is pushing me. You know, my visitor is really pushing me on my boundaries and stuff. Like, you're always going to be challenged. But it's how you look at the challenges. It's how you see the challenges. It's how you judge other people and stuff. It's that, you know, that is the things you can change. Still a little toot. So she got a little tooty booty. She got cozy though. It's funny the other day because oh no, that was a video because I saw this dog and he looked like Jack and he farted and he got scared of his own fart. It was hilarious. But Jack, he did it the other day and he didn't even notice. He just sat there like nothing's going on. He didn't even turn around like, what's that noise? This dog is so, it's such a character. I don't think I'm going to smoke for him. Once I get all this stuff cleared out, I think I'm just not going to smoke for, I don't know, if I ever will again, I don't know. I mean, I don't like to say anything as permanent, but I just feel like, I don't know, coughing up all this gunk too. It's like a lot of, but I also think that has probably kept me healthy through this. So to me, it's all about timing too. Because I feel like this is happening for a reason. I'm gonna start a fucking cough fit. Hold on. Because I had to quit for now because, you know, somebody coming in a crisis, you can just say, yeah, go have your crisis. Let's sit here and relax. But I had two that were hidden. And so a couple times, like, I had a headache. I was like, okay, well, I'll just go out for a walk, take a couple of puffs, so my headache will go away. Because it's still, you got to wean down off of some of this stuff, when you've used it like that. And so, but then when I have, it was making me feel weird. I was like, ooh, I don't like this feeling. I mean, it's one thing when you're sitting there doing it. I don't know. I don't know if the energy changed, and it was just like the universe pushed me. It's like, okay, well, somebody's going to come in now. You got to do this. And it's going to be perfect timing, because that's what it feels like. Because I've stopped smoking a bunch of times and have never felt like that, Yeah, I even had like a little sorbet, and I took a couple bites of that the other day to try and get rid of a headache. And it was like, oh my God, weird, because she kept coming out and trying to talk to me and stuff. And I was like, I couldn't, I had to keep, being just like, yeah. But inside, I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? Do I need to be hospitalized? What's happening? Am I dying? When you've heard those phone calls, and I was like, man, it's big difference from edibles. If you don't smoke and you do edibles, if you do edibles and you smoke, it's like nothing. If you don't smoke and you do edibles, it's like, what is happening here? It was so wild. I was like, ooh, I don't think I like this. I don't want to do this. It's like, okay, I'll save it for a headache or something, but and then taking a couple of, it was like the same thing. I was like, I don't know, maybe I've grown past this now. Maybe it's just not a thing anymore. I don't know. I don't ever like to be too like, well, I'll never do that again. Because, like, I don't know. I might, and I'm not going to judge myself if I do. So, I don't know. But right now, how I feel is like I just want to drink my root powders, clear out my lungs, get more healthy. And the only thing I'm having is I'm still getting some weird stiffness in my joints. But I do think the magnesium did help with those electric shocks. Because I did that before, too, a few years ago. I was having the electric shocks in my body. And I got magnesium, and it stopped. Confirmation. And then, but then, it's all this stuff I was seeing was like, that they put all of that goo and stuff in our vitamins, that they just try and get us to get the vitamins so that, they're going to cover all their bases. They're not going to let some people be healthy. What, are you kidding me? And so then I was like, well, I don't want to take any of this shit. So I stopped taking all that stuff. And then, the electric charge things came back. So I'm back on the magnesium. And I do think it has some benefits inside my body. I'm not having the electric shock things inside my body. So, okay, Stella's really on the move. 21222. I like that number. There's like a lot of crazy number things too. And I feel like the energy of this person, like they didn't come in my dream last night. Or I don't, if I went and hung out with them, I just don't remember. The night before that one was like, that was so cool. And so, I don't know. It's got to be, to me, in my own personal journey, in my own personal science, like I have said, like I have my own personal journey going on here too. It's not just all about healing and this awakening. We all have our own stuff going on. And this has been, I've got a lot of really serious spiritual challenges. And I can't wait to talk about them too. Because, they have been challenging, but it's like, it's stuff that people like would have no, you have to get to the other side to have any interest in it. Like, just talking about it, because I've talked about it before, and people are just like zone out, like, okay, like you have no validity to what you're saying. So we'll see. I mean, if the universe is going to give me validity or not. If they're going to say, lock her up, or no, this is valid. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out, but I think it's all close. It's all getting closer and closer by the second, too. So, I don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, maybe fucking he's going to bust the firmament open and the water's going to come in, and we're all going to have to get on a boat and rush into the flyover zone, tornado alley, so we can. But even like right now, I thought this guy had a good attitude, because he was a homesteader, and something came in and just killed everything. Some kind of it was a storm or something. Killed his animals, everything, and it was really sad. And he was walking around, just sad and showing this stuff. And he goes, but, I know how the universe works, and I know when they take this away, it's because something better's coming. And that's what, you got to have that attitude. Anything they take away from you is just to open up for something better's coming. So just keep that in mind as things are being taken away. And it doesn't mean that they're going to just take, here, like a shoe salesman, here, give me that box and I'll hand you another. No, you got to there's a little travel to get there, to get to your new you, your new stuff. They'll take you on the journey, though, to betterment, to this better life, this better lifestyle. Okay, still fed up with this shit today. So I guess I'm done talking. You guys have a great day, and just keep working on yourself and know it really does have a real purpose. And I think a lot of people are going to see the value of it when they see how much everybody's going to be struggling here in a minute. So talk to you later. Bye.